was a girl who stood at the edge of her life and saw nothing but fog. Her name was Anna, and everywhere she looked, the path ahead was unclear, uncertain, impossible to see. She didn't know what she wanted to be, where she wanted to go, what her purpose was. Everyone around her seemed to have direction, clear goals, straight paths, while she stood still paralyzed. Lost. When people asked what she wanted to do with her life, Anna had no answer. Not knowing felt like failing, as though everyone else got a map at birth and she got nothing, just fog, just fear, just the overwhelming weight of infinite possibility with no idea which way to turn. So she did nothing. She waited and hoped that one day the fog would clear, that one day she'd wake up and just know, that one day her purpose would arrive like a delivery, clear and packaged and ready to unwrap. But the fog stayed. Anna grew older, more stuck, more ashamed, watching others move forward while she remained frozen at the starting line. One afternoon, Anna's grandmother called and asked her to visit. She had something to show her. Anna drove to the small cottage at the edge of town. Her grandmother, frail but bright-eyed, led her to a room Anna had never seen before, a study filled with maps. Old ones, hand-drawn, beautiful. Anna stared at dozens of maps covering the walls, detailed and intricate. Maps of places and journeys and lives lived. When she commented that she didn't know her grandmother was a cartographer, the old woman laughed. She'd been a teacher. These maps were something else entirely. She cleared a space at a wooden desk, placed a blank piece of paper in front of Anna, and handed her a pencil with simple instructions. Draw a map. When Anna asked what kind of map, her grandmother replied, a map of her life, where she'd been, where she was going. Anna stared at the blank page, explaining that she didn't know where she was going. That was the problem. Then start with where you are, her grandmother suggested. Anna picked up the pencil and drew a small dot in the center. This is me, here, now. Her grandmother asked if Anna could take one step in any direction. Which way would she go? Anna didn't know, but her grandmother insisted. She just thought the step had to be perfect, had to lead somewhere significant, but it didn't. It just had to be honest. So if she could take one tiny step today, just one, what would it be? Anna thought, and admitted she'd probably read. She'd been wanting to learn about photography, but didn't know if it was practical, if it would lead anywhere. Her grandmother interrupted gently. That wasn't one step, that was Anna trying to see the whole journey from the first step. She couldn't. The fog wouldn't let her. But she could see one step. So take Italiano. Draw Italiano. Anna drew a small line from the dot and wrote "read about photography" beside it. Her grandmother handed her an old brass compass, explaining that it didn't show the destination, it showed the direction. North, south, east, west. And right now, that line Anna drew was her north, the direction that felt true. Not certain, not guaranteed, just true. When Anna worried about taking a wrong step, wasting time, ending up nowhere, her grandmother smiled. Then she would know, and she'd take a different step. That's how maps are made, not by knowing the whole journey before starting, but by taking one step, then another, then another. Slowly, the path reveals itself, not before you walk it, but as you walk it. She pointed to the maps on the walls. Each one represented a life, a student she'd taught. Every single one started the same way, with a blank page, with fog, with fear. But the ones who found their path weren't the ones who waited for clarity. They were the ones who took the first step without seeing the 10th. Anna looked at her. Tiny. Map, one dot. One line. It felt insignificant, pointless. But her grandmother continued, explaining that Anna thought she needed to know her purpose before starting. But purpose isn't found, it's built, step by step, choice by choice. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step and trust that the next one will appear. She pulled out another map, old and faded, her own, drawn when she was in Anna's age, lost and confused with no idea what she was doing. Anna looked at the map. It started with a single dot, a single line that said "apply to teach one class." From there, more lines branched out, small steps, each one leading to the next. Some paths crossed out, some redirected, some circling back. But slowly, over time, a journey emerged. Not straight, not perfect, but real. Her grandmother explained that she didn't know she'd be a teacher for 40 years. She just knew she wanted to try teaching one class. That was her first step, and it led to another and another. A life not planned, but built, one pencil line at a time. Anna felt something shift, a loosening, a permission she didn't know she needed. So she didn't have to know. She would never know. Not fully. Not at the beginning. And that wasn't failure, that was life. The fog was part of the journey. The uncertainty was the compass. Because if she knew everything, she wouldn't need courage, wouldn't need faith, wouldn't need to trust herself. And those things made the journey meaningful. Her grandmother handed her the blank page with instructions to take it home. Take her pencil, take her compass. Every day, ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today? Not tomorrow, not next year. Today, and take it. Draw it. Slowly. The map is made by grand plans, but by tiny steps taken consistently in the direction that feels true. Aina went home and pinned the blank page to her wall. The next day, she took her first step. She read about photography. Just one article. One small action. It didn't feel like much. It didn't feel like direction. But it felt like movement, and that was something. The next day, she took another step, watched a tutorial, then borrowed a camera, then took a photo of the sunrise through her window. The steps were tiny, almost meaningless, but she kept drawing them on her map. Slowly, a path began to emerge. Not straight, she tried things. Some worked, some didn't. She pivoted, adjusted, redirected, but she kept moving. 6 months later, Anna looked at her map, now covered with lines going in different directions. Some crossed out, some leading nowhere, but a pattern was visible, a direction, a journey. She'd taken a photography class, started a small project, met people, discovered she loved teaching others. She started offering free workshops. One day, someone offered her a job teaching photography to kids. It wasn't what she planned, because she never had a plan. But it was real. It was hers, built one tiny step at a time. Years later, Aina kept her map, kept adding to it. When young people came to her lost and paralyzed and drowning in fog, she'd show them her map, show them how it started. One line, one tiny step. She would explain that they didn't need to see the destination, just the next step. Take it, then the next, then the next. Slowly, the fog clears, not all at once, but enough to keep moving, enough to trust the path you're building. She'd hand them a blank page and a pencil, explaining that life isn't a puzzle to solve, it's a map to draw. And you're the cartographer, not because you know where you're going, but because you're brave enough to start. One step at a time, one line at a time, one choice at a time. The truth is this: you're standing in fog, looking for a clear path, a perfect plan, a guaranteed direction, but you won't find it. Because clarity doesn't come before action, it comes through action. You don't need to see the whole staircase, just the first step. You don't need to know your purpose, just your next move. You don't need a perfect plan, just a pencil and the courage to draw one line. Direction isn't found, it's created. Step by tiny step, choice by tiny choice. The path doesn't reveal itself before you walk it. It reveals itself as you walk it. So, stop waiting for clarity. Stop demanding certainty. Stop expecting the fog to lift before you move. It won't. The fog is part of the journey. The uncertainty is but teacher, and movement is the answer. Take out your pencil, draw your dot. Ask yourself, what's one tiny step I can take today? Not the perfect step, not the final step, just the next one. The honest one, the true one. Take it. Then another, then another. The map isn't made by knowing, it's made by moving. You don't need a compass that shows the destination. You need one that shows the direction, and that direction is always the same. Forward, one step at a time, one line at a time. That's not wandering. That's pathfinding. That's how you turn fog into a map. That's how you turn uncertainty into direction. So start. Today. Now. Now, draw your line and take your step. Trust that the path will appear not before you walk it, but because you walk it. That's not luck. That's courage. And that's how every great journey begins, with a pencil, a compass, and one tiny, brave step into the fog.